Hello everybody! Now, I need you all to check. The stream is streaming, right? I cannot believe what happened last week. I am so sorry. It seems that for anybody else who decides to do streaming on YouTube, when you click go live, you need to stay on the streaming page until it says you're going live before you then go on what you want to go on. So hopefully no hiccups. It looks like everybody is hearing me okay. Hopefully sounds good. So we'll give a bit of time for people to get in. Obviously I've gone a little bit early just to make sure that everybody can hear it and the stream's all looking good. So what we're doing today is, now Zaicho posted a 18-minute video all about a small fraction of the map and what they're building up. The Patreons have gotten to see this, and content creators have been given permission to share it with the public. So everything else is unlisted. You won't be able to search for this online. But I thought the best way to share it with everybody is to watch it with you all. We can pause it, we can go back and forwards, you can ask questions, and we can have a little explore of this map. Yes, it's definitely big. Now, the first thing I want to showcase is this small part of the map, what I'm showing here. Hopefully you can see my cursor okay. I made it a bit bigger. This small portion is what we're going to be looking at. This video is 18 minutes long, and this live stream's probably going to be running about an hour, I'm guessing. No problem, Rain Dancer. The video will be going... think of the word. The video will be going just to watch whenever you fancy it once it's done. So this small section is what we're going to be looking at in this video, and I will showcase where that is. It's just here. That's it. This tiny little section here is what we're going to be looking at. So you've got the volcano here. This will be the burning forest, and around the volcano you've got the dangerous dunes here. You've got the ice range here. You've got a lovely little meadow and plains area here. Over here is going to be the floating islands. We've got some sandbars here, so if you think of the starting areas in Ark, where you're on the beach and you've got those palm trees, that's going to be the sand dunes. Over here is a little solitary nesting island, and I say little. This lake here is about the same size as the lake we've got in our current map. So you get an idea. This little corner here is the same size as the map we've got. Oh, I seem to be... Am I buffering on the live stream? If you can let me know. I unfortunately only have my phone available to follow chat, so I will just do a quick reload. Sorry about this, technical problems. One sec. I will just check it through this way. Yep, everything still seems to be going okay. My phone is just playing about, so unfortunately I'm not going to be able to see the chat for a few moments. That seems to be working now. Yeah, I just went quiet for a moment, just checking it. So hopefully you can hear me now. So this small quarter is going to be the same size as the current map we've got. So we've got a lot to explore, and it's just going to be taking part in this small little section, the video we're going to watch. So the landmarks you want to look out for are the volcano and this mountain range here. You'll see that quite often, and the sea that you see in it will be this area here. So let's get to it. Oh, Zante, you say it's going to be a pain for an ASD. Wait till you see this video. Zaicho has taken this into account.
Alright, so what we've got here is a focus on the main area.
Now, can you hear him at that? How does he sound? Is he a bit too quiet? It's a bit difficult to sort out the sound range on this, so I can adjust it as needed. So I'll just wait till I get a bit of feedback. Yeah, it's too quiet. No problem. I can sort that out. That should be better. Let me check.
Alright, so what we've got here is a focus on the main area that we will release. Let me go ahead and just do an overview, and then I'll go into each area individually and kind of go through. As you can see, I've created proper paths.
So I'm just going to pause it here. It sounds like the sound is all good. So yeah, you see the volcano here. Further off that way will lead up to the mountain range. I believe this is leading over to the canyon. I'm not 100% sure. I think, no, actually that's going to be the cavern. You'll see that in a little bit later. So we're going to start off and he's going to show you all the paths. Now the paths look great, but wait till you see the scale of things. Oh, and the image that you saw as you were waiting for the video to start, that takes place just over here.
From each area to the next. And while my reasoning behind this is, while obviously it's open world and you can just go, like if you wanted to start here, you could go from, you know, point A to point B, you know, just flying or walking, but having paths, easy paths the player can navigate and follow, really add to an area and can make, you know, the travel from point A to B longer but more interesting. So here we've got, you know, for example, 2 split paths. I made sure I made the walls high so you can't see whenever you come to a split, but once you choose a path you can see where it's going. Obviously dragons can fly over, but I wanted to keep each path interesting. So we've got slopes along all the paths. And these paths are actually extremely large, enough room to add foliage. So let me throw in a dragon, for example, so you can see as an adult.
So yeah, you can see the scale of this thing. These paths are not small. They are going to be very easy to traverse. There's plans to have trees along the sides and open areas and little watering holes. Yeah, that is a flame stalker. So you see a square of 3 on the ground. That's a flame stalker square. Yeah, it's the scale of this map is inconceivable without seeing the model there. Oh yeah, there's small places too. They're not working on the caves. They know roughly where they're going to be putting the caves, but they're not working on the actual interiors of the caves yet, because they want to get the overworld sorted. The nice thing with the caves is they continuously add more caves as more updates come out. They don't have to put all of the caves in all at one time. So with each update, we're probably going to have more and more caves to explore, and each of the caves are probably going to get more and more complex. So you won't see any caves, but you'll see cave openings throughout this video.
Well, it's still a pretty wide path, but that gives room for trees and overhangs and overgrowth in these areas, specifically because this area is going to be very forested. I wanted to make sure that you would have paths that are wide open enough that you can have clearings and forests in the same area and it won't feel too crowded. Some more height variation to each of the paths. Goes back down to the path you're at before. Just very interesting winding paths, and definitely left openings so that you can just walk into the forest if you want, or
So there's going to be open forests. There's anything you can imagine. They're going to be working on it. They're really excited to start adding the foliage and all of the terrain pieces. However, they have run into a slight issue. It's not something that's going to delay anything. It's just that Unreal 5, obviously, it's newly out, and they've got a patch they're currently working on that will fix a few issues they've been having with foliage rendering. And once that's all sorted, then they can start pasting over and adding all the rocks and the actual terrain in place. But here's the thing. This is actually giving them a lot more time to focus on the overall structure and the terrain, and you will see as we go further into the video just how much thought they've put into this, and I'm loving it. Yes, as for the size of this map, we are looking at 1,600 square kilometers, or 1,000 square miles. So it's big. It is very, very big, and it's only with Unreal 5 that we're able to get this size of a map.
meadow areas. Because obviously, you know, the game's about freedom and choice. So this would lead into a cave, into the landscape here. And that's another thing about all these paths, is they usually have some branch offs. You know, in each path there's some branch offs, or at the end of the path that leads to a cave. Or an interesting area, rather. Not always a cave.
Now, on the structure of the AI, I will say they have not announced all of the AI that they've got planned coming for the game. There's more announcements to come. I wasn't able to get any more information out of Jo. I did try. I promise you I did try. But we're still getting more AI that haven't yet been announced coming to the game. I don't know which update, but they will be coming.
So if I go this way, let's go up the hill and over. I wanted to, as we get closer to the water, I wanted to make sure that we have large cliffs that really push that scale.
And this is an overlook of the dangerous dunes. And out there further is the ocean. So we are going to have some amazing views, and the scale of flight we're going to get to play with is going to be so much fun. So all of you have been posting screenshots and they've been amazing. Just wait till we can post the screenshots in this map.
Nice view of the ocean and the surrounding landscape. And obviously if I were to jump off and fly, it would take me down to the next plateau. I could go down again. You can.
Oh, correct me. Those aren't actually the dangerous dunes. They're just some sand areas. The dangerous dunes, if I bring it up, are all the way over here, and it's this area we are currently looking at. This little sandy area. So obviously this map isn't fully updated, but we've been going around all of this location here, and this is the location we're currently looking at.
See kind of the staggering plateaus, especially when you're down here, create a very nice composition. Fly back up here, and I will continue on the path back this way. I made sure to keep all the large points of interest in view.
It could be a beach, it could be a forest, it could be a meadow. We're not sure yet. A meadow would be quite nice in this particular area, particularly as we've just come away from the burning forest at that point. So just transitioning into a slightly nicer area to be in. Each dragon species will have a particular area that their eggs spawn in when you spawn as a new dragon without parents. So obviously the Flamestalker will be spawning around the volcano and the burnt forest area. So it will definitely spread players out and also give each dragon a slightly different territory and start.
As much as possible.
We don't yet know about where the striker's going to spawn, or even where the shadow scale or acid spitter. I'm imagining the shadow scale will quite possibly spawn around the meadows area. That seems quite right. Or maybe around a beach area. The acid spitter, I can probably almost definitely guess that's going to be in a forested area, because that's just where they're suited. Maybe around some redwoods would be a great area for them.
Now to another large plateau. Having the high walls with I guess balconies on either side really adds height variation and an interesting level composition to what would naturally or originally be a very boring basic path. Just adds a little bit of flavor to the paths. I'll go this way first. Same thing here. Slopes and ledges on the paths add a little bit of extra to what would originally be a...
I'm quite sure any of the drakes are probably going to get very lost in this map. However, they're probably also going to be the dragons that are going to find the most secrets, because they're going to be on the ground, exploring, finding all the little nooks and crannies. They're just going to be the real explorers of this map, and they're going to know how to use the terrain to their advantage to get the one over on the other dragons.
A plain area. Another one of the interesting points here. Very rocky, beaten up area, jagged rocks kind of sticking out. And it leads to a cave entrance right here.
I love this location. Absolutely love it. You can imagine those rocky curved outcroppings, and yeah, you can see the flame stalker sitting right there. It's massive. You're going to have dragons perching on top of these rock outcrops, and it's beautifully laid out. He will actually go into his thoughts on how he laid out and everything. And yeah, this is going to be a favourite location, and you can bet there's going to be some amazing screenshots of this location. Now, don't forget, these places are going to have their names, but there's going to be fan names for them. So we might have Big Rock on the current map, but what are we going to be naming these places?
With some interesting composition. Kind of following that rule of thirds in photography.
And you do ask for bones? Patreon has seen there is a dragon graveyard. There is going to be rib cages and skulls, and yeah, we're in for some fun.
Or just art in general. Creates everything kind of leads your eye towards the cave entrance, shaping or outlining the edge of it. And if you continue to follow this path.
Yes, Synchros, it is unlisted. You won't be able to find this video. Patreons can watch this video, and it may get published later on. But at the moment, the best way for you to view this video without Patreon is right here.
I'll speed up a little bit here. The landscape cuts away all the way down to the cavern. And I showed this in my last video.
Alright, who else wants crystals in there? Big giant crystals that you can stand on and light up.
Let's give a brief fly through again.
Now that volcano is massive. It really is. We haven't gotten a close look at it, and you won't in this video, but it is just so big.
And I'll go ahead and take the path back. I'll zoom, go a little fast here.
And that, my friends, is a Inferno Ravager model he's just placed there, not a Flamestalker.
So the previous area was very forested, very heavy, and as you see, we're getting closer to the volcano. We're slowly going to transition into the Firelands, and I think what I have planned here as a transition point is what amounts to like a natural hot springs area. So it's very craggy, large rock faces, and the landscape starts to go from grass and dirt to more jagged rock. As you can see in the landscape, very, very broken, worn out, and you come out to a waterfall here.
And look at this. This is going to be a fantastic place to relax, even on PvP. I can definitely see this as almost like a neutral ground where people meet up and gather, chill out in the hot springs. Now, he does say he thinks it's going to be quite bland colours and green water, and you'll hear that. Personally, what I'm hoping we get to see is something more like Yellowstone Park, with all the bright colours along the edges. So these bright oranges and blues and greens, I think that will look gorgeous if that gets added, and quite different from other areas too. I do hope we get geysers there. Definitely hope for geysers.
And this would be part of the hot springs area. So large rock faces. You'll have a lot of dull colors here. Water might be very green. More earthy tones. And you would just have jagged rock pieces and rock faces all across this open area. Make it feel very desolate. The path leads up. To another plateau. So each of these plateaus you see are obviously you can navigate to by walking.
I love the fact that he's made so many of these plateaus reachable by the ASDs. One, it makes sure there's always danger and you can't just find a high place to get away from them, which is quite fun. And two, it just brings so much thought to the drakes that can't fly. It gives them access to the full map, which is important because anybody who's played an ASD on the current map, you've definitely gotten stuck a couple of times.
Same thing over here. All these plateaus you can get to by walking.
Who wants to cannonball off there? I know I do. Oh yeah, there's going to be so many places that babies are going to be able to practice at. And if you think being up high as a baby dragon or wyvern is just going to be such an advantage, because if you find a high spot that you can hide in and you can find some food and some water, and an enemy comes like an ASD or even another dragon, you do have the option to jump off and fly. You can't fly very far or very well, but if you get a whole load of baby dragons jumping off at the same time, some of you is going to make it.
And all the orange paths are just rock ledges and natural structures that give you access to the upper plateaus. And under here we would have a cave. Just goes into the mountain face here. Another nice view of the waterfall. This is one of my favorite views right here. Go up again. Another plateau structure. As you can see here, the landscape starts to transition into the very eroded lava lands.
No, this isn't the location of the floating islands. I can actually show you where that is. So we're currently looking at this here. We're probably around this sort of location here, I would definitely say. The floating islands are all the way over here. These rocks here are the floating islands. Obviously you can't see them very well, but they're there. That's quite a distance to go. They wanted the floating islands around about the middle of the map. It gives a great view, and you've then got that upper portion to fly wherever you want to. There may be other floating islands in places, but that's going to be the main location for them.
We come up to one of the largest plateaus that we have.
And hang on, if I just go back a slight, you'll be able to see some of them. Right there's the floating islands. So you've got that craggy ridge along there, and over that mountain range will be the snowy area, and you can just make out some of the floating islands over there in the distance. Oh, it should be okay now. Can everybody hear me fine? Just wait till the chat catches up and I get the A-OK. Don't want anything going wrong here. Good, let's carry on.
And it leads to a valley pass. Very high walls on either side.
So yeah, check out the squares on the ground. Every block of 3, that's the size of a flame stalker. You're going to easily be able to fit a couple of behemoths through here.
We have another path here that leads up to another nice scenery spot. As you can see here, a lot of very barren, almost uninviting spots.
Don't know how big the behemoths will be square-wise. We'll have to wait until we see the model on here, but it's going to be big, that's for sure. Nurse Dragon compared to the Flamestalker, I would bring up the image, but I haven't got it at the moment. Well, I have, but it'd be difficult to bring up. Probably about twice the size in sort of mass. They're big. They are absolutely beefy things, and you do not want to get anywhere near the front or the back end. They're nasty.
But if you travel far enough, across these paths, travel all the way down the dangerous, barren landscape, I'll speed up here. You get down to a beautiful beach area. Nice open waters, massive, actually some of the biggest scale that we would have on the map.
Now I'm really hoping we end up having some little cliffs along this rock face and some little caves to go into. Great little nesting spots, particularly for Singe Crests, which obviously go fishing. I think that's going to be just lovely.
Giant cliff faces. Just absolutely massive. Which really gives a sense of one scale, but almost separation and isolation of this area. This almost feels like its own secret spot. because the path to get down here obviously is very narrow, jagged, and almost hard to find.
Now I'm guessing you saw obviously the groove that went all the way down and has come down to the river here. I think that's actually going to be well, down to the sea here. I think that's going to be a river. It makes the most sense, and obviously you saw it went quite deep and quite nasty. I think that's going to be a river running all the way down to this. I could be wrong, but we will see.
You get your own, secluded beach area. But yeah, just the absolute massive scale of the cliffs compared to the open waters. It's one of my favorite parts of the map. We could have some sort of cave opening here as well that you would have to fly into. And you could have a very interesting cave structure in there where instead of having ground, the whole cave floor is just water with ledges inside of it.
Now that sort of a structure would be perfect for obviously the Bioluma. It would be very difficult for other dragons to get to them, and they wouldn't be able to climb up very easily. I think having those sort of locations for the Bioluma just tucked away would be quite useful.
We can fly across over to the plateaus that we saw previously. So really, all the paths kind of reconnect to one another. Rather, they lead to areas that connect to one another. Definitely a big focus on landscape over the past couple weeks.
So yeah, we have just covered that place in 17 minutes. Well, this video is 17 minutes. Obviously, we've taken a lot longer. And this whole section that we've just gone around, all those different landmarks and locations, that's just this small portion here. It's a tiny little section. This place is going to be massive. Just so big to explore.
You can see everything has been recarved to fit these unique areas together to create a sense of cohesion between each location in the landscape.
Now, they have also said with the way that Unreal 5 works, they will be able to double the number of players that can play on a server. So server caps will be 200. It's looking like, obviously, no guarantee. They could run into issues. They could even go higher. But it's looking good. This is going to be for us. This is all going to be a chance to play as a dragon, and whatever sort of dragon you like as it develops.
Yeah, definitely from above, you don't get quite the sense of depth of each area. And this goes right back to those plateaus from earlier. So if you do fall, or if you're a land-based creature and you can't jump off of that platform or that plateau up there down to this one, you have this path that leads you right back up. So definitely a focus on land-based navigation.
And I think they've done really well with that, focusing on the land-based navigation, making sure everybody can get around. Because even as a dragon or a wyvern, as a hatchling and a juvenile, you're stuck on the ground for quite a while. So being able to move from location to location, slowly, obviously, but with such a large area, it's going to be making it so much. Oh, it looks barren now, but he's already spoken about there being forests and openings and clearings and rivers and lakes. It's going to be amazing. As I said at the beginning of the video, they are currently waiting for an update that's being tested at the moment internally by Unreal 5, just to improve some issues that they had with foliage generation. I think it had something to do with the lighting or something. But that has given them more time to focus on the terrain and just make sure that they've got a solid basis. They know how they want things structured, how the locations flow into one another, and how to make it look natural and easily to explore. So, what do you guys think of this map? I'm so excited to see the rest of it, that's for sure. I do highly recommend any of you who are interested to actually search Unreal 5 map creation. There's some fantastic videos out there that people have already made giving tutorials on how to create maps and things. And the tools that are provided for Unreal 5 are just amazing in just painting on the trees and the foliage. And it looks so good and is ready to go so quickly. Obviously, you need to make adjustments and tweaks and move things here and there and put all your extra bits and pieces. But they have got the tools to really make this place alive just quite quickly, to be honest. And then go in and do all of the little touches, as opposed to placing a couple of trees at a time. Yeah, I know a lot of people have been worried that it's just too big, but with creatures that can fly, and remember we're still on the smaller side of the dragons at the moment, there needs to be a lot of locations to move around and to travel. And a lot of the issues that people have been having is we're kind of all squashed into a few key locations that that we can use, that we can raise up our hatchlings in and have our clans and all of that. This just, it gives us so many more locations to call our own. Unfortunately, the update will not be ready for December. Zaicho has stated that. One, with the foliage thing, and two, they really want to work on this and make sure it's the best possible 1.0 it can be. So it's probably at the moment the date is early 2023, and I think that's a good date to aim for. We've got one shot at this, guys. This has to be an amazing update. Not for us. Obviously it's going to be for us, but it needs to be an amazing update to prove to people this is what the game was always meant to be. This is what the Kickstarters and everybody who's jumped on this game and trusted this game to deliver has been waiting for. It's not been there to give you something knockoff or anything like that. This is the game we've been waiting for, and we need to blow it out of the park. And with this map, with the dragons that are coming, the animations that are being done to it, it's looking like it's going to deliver. And that's pretty hard to accomplish. Now, obviously there are going to be bugs, there's going to be issues, there's going to be a lot of balance changes, obviously. We're going to have quests that some might not quite work, it might take a few passes, but they're building on it and it's going well. We're seeing progress, and I am so excited for next year. It's definitely going to be the year of the dragon. Now, I know a lot of people have asked for smaller updates coming to the current map, and that's completely understandable. We're stagnant at the moment, but they can't really update to Unreal 5 while also working on Unreal 4 without splitting the team. Now, they have just gotten their 5th animator, and animation is coming in quicker, more smoothly. Obviously, they've got Zaicho now working on the map. I think they've got 3 concept artists now too, and I know they've got 2 riggers within the animators, which makes a massive difference now instead of just the one. But if they split the party, basically, it's going to really slow things down. And as sad as it is to say, Unreal 4 can't be the focus if they're looking towards the future. Obviously, Unreal 4 engine and the maps we've got and the dragons we've got currently, they're going to continue on the legacy branch. And if there is anything that they can update to Unreal 4 that won't take much time or much effort away from the new update, they will do that, and they are planning on doing that because they still want to keep people's interest in the game. But at the same time, if people want to play other things at the moment in the interim while we're waiting for the new update, that's great as well. There are a lot of really good games coming out at the moment, and it can be good to take a break. But everybody's going to be back for the new update. If you do want to learn about animation, YouTube, there are so many fantastic videos on there. I believe it's not Blender that they use for the for this. Nope, I cannot remember. But if you ask on the Discord, they will actually tell you. The animators love chatting about it and sort of showcasing. And I would love to get into it myself. At the moment, I've played around with Blender. I can mostly just do texture updates, things like that. I have done some work for another game, which I will discuss next year. It's not quite ready yet. But yeah, I know a lot of people really want to work and help out for the game. Yeah, for those that can't get on Discord, don't worry. I know a lot of information goes there and a lot of talk with the developers. I do hope to bring a lot of that information to YouTube, to you here, to keep everybody updated and so that nobody feels left out the loop. Day of Dragons, I don't think it's on sale at the moment on Steam. It might be on sale on the website. However, if you're waiting for a sale for Day of Dragons, December. They always have their biggest sale in December. So if you're waiting for a time when it's a bit easier to get the game, that's definitely your best bet. So, are there any questions? I'm here. I've got almost about 10 minutes before I'm going to end the stream. Let's see if we can knock out any questions, whether it's about the new map, the new dragons, or about the channel. Yes, the Blitz Striker is available to buy right now over on the Day of Dragons website. If you go there, you will be able to buy it at a discount right now. I can't remember how much it is. I could look it up if you want. There you go. For me, obviously this is in UK pounds. It is £4.98. It's, to be honest, you can't. The DLCs are pretty well priced. But if you buy it from the website, you'll get it a little bit cheaper. I will also say to everybody, even if you haven't got the game, you're actually better off to buy it from the shop store, because most of the money then all of the money then goes to Day of Dragons and Be Awesome games, as opposed to if you buy it on Steam, some of the cut obviously goes to Steam. So it's up to you where you want to buy it. You will get a Steam key, it will be sent to you, and it works exactly the same as buying it anywhere else. It's just a little bit easier for Day of Dragons if you buy it here. The Micro Dragon. The Micro Dragon is going to be the smallest of the dragons at current scales. It's going to be feathered, as you've seen, hopefully, and it's going to be an egg eater. So it will... Now, a lot of people think of it more as a troll dragon, so raiding nests, stealing eggs. However, it is going to be quite helpful for nesting dragons. Just being around a micro dragon will actually cause female dragons who are nesting to produce their eggs a lot faster. So the micro dragon and a nurse dragon together are going to be the best partners when it comes to breeding skins or stats or anything like that. The micro is then able to eat the eggs that the nurse dragon says aren't quite right. You want to see the micro compared to the others. Again, I don't have it quite up yet, and I don't really want to go into my files where everybody can see. But if you go on to, let's see, I'll have to make a video actually. I'll make a video and I will showcase how big the micro is compared to all the other dragons. But yeah, it's about half the size of a bio dragon. They can't give eggs to somebody else. Basically, if they steal an egg, it will probably, I'm guessing it will probably go inactive, so nobody can hatch out from it. But its element will be acid, so that's what it's able to eat its way through the eggs. And they are talking about giving AI eggs as well. We've already seen a not a spiny scrab, it's a thornback crawler, the little ones that run away. We've seen their current nests. Well, there's another nest that's been developed for them, which dragons will be able to dig into and get to their eggs to eat. It's going to be a great food for hatchlings. There's also a good chance we're probably going to get some snapper eggs. So digging along the shore to find some eggs that way. However, I'm guessing that's also going to be quite dangerous to do because Mummy Snapper is not going to want you stealing her eggs. For me, the dragon I'm most excited to play, it's got to be the Singe Crest. Yeah, the Singe Crest is absolutely my favourite. I love the fact that it's a support class, and I love the idea that you're going to be catching fish along the water while in the air. It's small-ish and quick. That's what I really like about it. However, I do think I'm going to enjoy the bio quite a lot because with its ability to hover and take off from the ground, it's just going to be a fantastic dragon to record footage for. Well, everybody's excited for the floating islands. I've not long gotten back from watching Avatar back at the movies in 3D, and I'm very much looking forward to watching the new Avatar movie in cinemas around December time. And yeah, flying around the floating islands is going to be amazing. I am also really looking forward to all the caves, which again I'm sure a lot of people are excited for. I'm probably going to be flying into so many waterfalls. I will give my dragon concussion because I do want to find all the caves behind the waterfalls too. But yes, they are planning on adding the quests to the big map. Now, I would expect most of the early quests that get added to be fairly simple and fairly basic. I could be wrong again, but they've got so much to work on. I can imagine that the quests are going to build up in complexity and scale as more updates keep coming in, as they get more used to the systems. Oh, I am the worst person you could possibly ask for system specs and sort of what hardware you need or anything like that. The developers are still trying to work out what's going to be required, as are the testers. They are doing a lot of testing on different machines and getting the testers to give their frame rates and what systems they're running on. They're really hoping most people can obviously jump onto the Unreal 5 engine, but it is a more stressful engine for your games, so they are going to try and make sure it's as optimized as possible. Jo hates lag. He's a PvP player, of course he hates lag so much, so we're going to be kept up to date, but at the moment, until they start getting the foliage in and they start seeing all the systems run on the actual map, it's a bit hard to say. I myself do know I'm going to need to upgrade my PC, because I want to keep making these videos and make sure I'm able to present the game as best as I possibly can for everybody here. And I'm going to be recording at the same time, so my PC is going to love me. But we will have the Unreal 4 servers still up for quite a while until they all die off. I know it's not ideal and people want to move on to Unreal 5 as soon as they can, but it does at least give us an option until people do upgrade. I would recommend, probably good to save up if you've got a much lower end PC and you're not able to run Day of Dragons on medium high at the moment. But I am not the best person to ask for those sort of things. But yeah, I mean, most games are upgrading to sort of bigger and better systems. Unreal 5 is just so much easier to make games in, make maps in, do more processing. Although it does, obviously, it's harder taxing on the actual PCs. It's able to do a hell of a lot more at a better pace than Unreal 4 ever could. So I am going to, oh, here we go. They are going to be updating all of the skins. Yes, they have actually got a new program that they're making the skins in. I think it actually came with Unreal 5. The skins are going to be, yeah, they're going to look good. We've had some examples. The skins are also going to just be the base. We are getting patterns, we are getting markings, and you're going to see so much more, and the patterns are going to be inherited and you're going to pass them on to your children. The genetic system is also looking really good. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they just roll out a slightly simplified genetic system at the very start, again just to give them a bit more wiggle room to work on it before the nurse dragon comes out. But it's looking really good. So when you breed, this is what I've been told so far, it could change. You will have a set sort of palette that you're able to pick from. So the more points you've put into breeding, the more wiggle room you've got to play with that palette to decide what the babies are going to look like. The nurse dragon is going to be very important to breeders. That's coming out in the update after 1.0, and that will allow you to she will be able to nest the eggs in her throat pouch. She will actually swallow them, but it will sit in her throat pouch, and she'll be able to incubate them at the proper time. That's another thing you're going to have to watch out for. Quite a few of the dragons are going to have to be able to incubate their eggs at the proper temperature, so be aware of that. But yeah, she'll be able to incubate all eggs at the proper temperature, and she's actually going to be able to push the stats a little bit further in whichever way she wants to, or he wants to. The nurse dragon doesn't have to be female to look after the eggs, and they will be able to slide the stats one way or the other, just a slight nudge. They will also likely give slightly more options, maybe when it comes to colours or something like that. They will also be able to see all of the stats before the egg hatches out. So, yep, they'll be able to incubate anywhere, so they don't need to be in the proper biome. But they will be able to see all of the stats, so maybe the stats aren't that good. This will hopefully stop a lot of the just the constant nesting and then throwing away of hatching out and throwing away the egg, hatching out, throwing away the egg. Instead, the micro will eat the egg. And with the micro around, the female dragons will be able to lay a lot faster. So it should help solve those issues. No, the nurse dragon can do it with all eggs. I don't think they're able to do it with the behemoth eggs, because the behemoth eggs, they're going to be big. That's just a fact. They might be able to, but I doubt it. Yeah, I can imagine quite a few kidnappings or forced adoptions, maybe you should call them. As a nurse dragon builds up her own little army. Yes, the Sand and Snow Slayer worms are going to be added. I definitely know the Sand Slayer worms here are going to be added in 1.0. I'm pretty sure the Snow Slayers, but they might... Oh, sorry about that. They might hold off on those until they actually add the icy biome and the ice behemoth, but I think they're going to add both of them at the same time. I will also say, as the last parting gift of information to you all, as you know, the Bioluma dragon will be able to spit on other dragons to make them glow. It has been confirmed that this glow will be very much like the way the dragons glow in How to Train Your Dragon Hidden World. So, yeah, take that in. We're going to get patterns, we're going to get markings, and it's only going to be revealed when you get spat on by a little tiny dragon. So, with that little nugget of information, I bid you all adieu, and I hope to see you all very soon. I unfortunately probably won't have a video out next week. I will try, and if I do, it's probably going to be another little music video I've been working on, but I've got a personal little outing to go to, so I'll see you the week after that. Until then, see you all soon.